Well. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. It's Friday. Guess who's got a new toy? Russell, the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well this morning. We didn't do anything this morning, actually. We did this afternoon, where we did a preview of the Burnley games, did stat attack, all that type of stuff. Now we've got the world famous Habas Headlines in association with the KUM.com boys. Don't forget to check them out in the description. All the news, reviews, and opinions, more than you can wish for. Now, we're not talking about transfer. Well, it's kind of transfers, but not really transfers. Today we're talking about the academy players, and we're talking about international call-ups as well, because being Burnley, the Burnley game tomorrow being the last game of this sort of bit, and then another international break. And then at least there's no international breaks until March, although we do have the AFCONs midway through. Anyway, let's crack on like Donkey Kong and talk about kind of transfer. We'll talk about transfer in the boardroom. Oh, he's bugging up with it. In terms of Trip Smith. Now, obviously, tomorrow marks the protest, the march, in association with Hammers United, and presenting the petition to the club. But according to 𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗣𝗣, they've discovered via their website that West Ham shareholder Trip Smith has once again flown into the UK. Now, ordinarily, this doesn't really raise much suspicion or eyebrows, they said in the article, but this is the second time in about 4 or 5 weeks that he's been over here on what has been described as West Ham business. Now, he is a wealthy man himself, but he's made his wealth basically brokering deals, takeovers, billion-dollar takeovers, negotiating more sort of not necessarily businesses which are doing well, but more distressed assets. And West Ham is a very distressed asset. So he's always been quite good at finding opportunities and bringing in the right people at the right time. Now, the latest visit comes amid growing rumours around the ownership of West Ham United, around growing fan disenchantment with the West Ham ownership. We've had also had the first sort of, wasn't really March, first sort of gathering. Then we had the boycott, the sit-in protest, and now the march. So there is more eyes on the likes of David Sullivan, Daniel Kaczynski, in terms of the ownership of the club. Now, it might mean nothing. It might mean nothing. But again, the frequency of his timing and the timing of the visits as well, so, it does speculate. Something could be brewing behind the scenes. Now, as I've always alluded to, and Adam at 𝗪𝗪𝗪 Pod, we've both spoken at great lengths. I think the most likely new owners of West Ham, whenever that may be, or the next most likely investors into West Ham will be American. We are coming into a situation in the 26-27 season where we have a new shirt of the manufacturer is a US company. I would probably theorise that front of shirt will be an American company. You've got the World Cup as well, and the interest in soccer from America and Canada is going to increase even more so after the World Cup. And so I think we were more likely to see an American consortium take over than necessarily a Arab sheikh. I just think that's the way it's going to happen. Trip owns 8% of West Ham, and that 8% could be very interesting if, for example, and again just theorising, his consortium buy out all of Gold's shares, or 25%, plus his 8% gives around 35%, which puts him second to David Sullivan's 39%. And then there could be a conversation with other minorities to bump up that 3 or 4% extra with the likes of the Brown family and the Kearns. They've all got sort of small percentage stakes in the club, or even maybe relinquishing some of Daniel Kaczynski's 4 or 5%. And then they could be the major shareholder. Then that would be interesting. Could be interesting. It's not purely speculative, but it's just, and then you got to think that in line with all the protests, investors, shareholders will look at that and say that doesn't looked very good on West Ham as well. So, we'll see. Don't forget, a few weeks ago, that it was, I think, ex-habitual employee mentioned that Mark Noble and Baroness Brady was showing around foreigners, which, in terms of around Rush Green and stuff, believed to be potential investors. Now, there was a story coming out that they were part of Amari Developments, who are already sponsors at West Ham. They already advertise at West Ham, Middle East-based company. There were other reports that actually they were US, and I don't know, so maybe they turn up in big Stetsons, and that's why people knew they were foreigners. But it's interesting. It's all interesting, and again, it's purely speculative. But timing, these things, coincidences don't tend to happen with rich people and business people. They're very methodical, and that's why they are quite successful business people, because they are usually quite methodical in their approaches. So the timing of this is somewhat interesting. Talking of timing, we've played Burnley tomorrow in a crucial, a proverbial 6-pointer, to be sure. 17th plays 18th. And what has been interesting is Nuno's integration of more academy players into the first team training sessions. Now, at his press conference yesterday, he confirmed that 4 academy players were training full-time with West Ham's first team. And he mentioned it was 𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗣𝗣, Finn Herrick, 𝗪𝗏𝗓 Mohamedou Kante. Actually, all of them have signed new deals recently. Finn signed one beginning of this season. And have all been rewarded with their fine form in the youth setup and being on loan, which Finn was, and hope to make an impression on the first team. Now, on top of that, you've got the likes of Callum Marshall, George Earthy, Freddie Potts. On top of that, you've got people like Ollie Scars is obviously injured. On top of that, you've got people like Fernandez, Magassa, 21, 22 respectively. So, there is clear movement towards making this a lot younger and removing that sort of dad's army mantra. Although, the likes of Fabianski coming back actually increased the squad dramatically, but him, he won't be here forever. Now, what's fascinating is, with this, we had, as you mentioned, and as I mentioned the other week, 𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗣𝗣 has been called up to the first team squad. He was on the bench for the Newcastle game, as I predicted. Just saying. You're too kind. Leave it alone. You're too kind. Thank you very much. Thank you. And there was, and as I said, Ezra could definitely cover the left-hand side, particularly if Ollie Scars out until December-ish. And that would make sense. The right-hand side, I don't necessarily see Edges will get a call up into the first team squad for tomorrow. It's going to be fascinating because actually tonight, 7 o'clock, is West Ham under-21s against Liverpool under-21s. Now, when we played midweek and we against Wolves away and drew 1-1, should have won, but Callum Marshall missed the penalty. There was the likes of Mamadou wasn't in there, Ezra wasn't in there, Goran Bekis wasn't in there, who's the captain. And as I mentioned in the chat there, that during that show, that actually they've been brought up to the first team squad and would likely, some of them maybe, be released to play tonight. They might not all be released to play tonight, but for some of them, they've had the week, and if they're not going to be in the first team squad tomorrow, then they'll be playing tonight. So potentially, I think Kante will be playing tonight, or even get 60 minutes, which they do sometimes, and then take them off. I don't think Edges will get a call up to the first team squad for tomorrow. I think Ezra will, and Finn will. I think Finn could even be in the matchday squad, because if we're led to believe, Fabianski is not well at the moment with a back injury. So again, purely speculative, but I imagine a couple of them. I don't think you see Ezra. I think Ezra's sort of now very much, until at least Mavropanos comes back from injury, will be in that first team squad. And good luck to them all. They're all cracking boys. And as I said, Ezra's just signed up to a 5-year new deal. Goran Bekis has Kante signed up to a 6-year deal. And I know Finn signed up to a new 3 or 4 year deal at the beginning of the season before he went out on loan. So when people say, why are you always so chipper? because why you say to you about the academy, because we have got a group, and then below that we have got another group ready to roll. Preston Fearon, Josh Landers, Dan Cummins, Josh Ajala, and Mika Adiele. In fact, we're going to do probably a feature about Emiake Adiele, because I think that could be an option if Ollie doesn't return in time for January and the AFCONs. Hashtag just saying. Finally, talking about the internationals. This is like segueing so well. Didn't even mean to. Talking about the internationals, Jarrod Bowen has just been called up to Thomas Tuchel's squad for the Three Lions' final 2 matches in their qualifiers to be played in November. Tuchel's side have already clinched qualification. 6 wins out of 6. But they complete their campaign by welcoming Serbia on Thursday and then travel to the Air Albania Stadium in Tirana to take on Albania on next Sunday. And yeah, plenty to fight for those two, but not in terms of England obviously getting qualified. Bowen has featured in 4 of England's 6 qualifiers, starting a 3-0 home win against Latvia in March and appearing off the subs bench in a victory over Albania and away wins in Serbia and Latvia. 19 caps in total, and his first goal for the country was in the UEFA Nations League win over Republic of Ireland in a final 5-0 victory in November 2024. So hopefully Bowen will be on fire for England on over next week, and I would assume because they've already qualified they'll be more experimental, so I imagine Bowen will probably get some more game time and to prove to Tuchel what he's got. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. As per usual, if you're new around here, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I will talk to you on the Flippity Flop. Match day morning tomorrow, 9 o'clock-ish, outside the London Stadium. Previewing the game ahead a few hours afterwards. And also, if you can get to Rush Green tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff, free for season ticket holders, £5 for adults, £1 for kids. It's good, actually, going to today's game because it's fireworks weekend, technically, isn't it? And you just see loads of fireworks as well, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, in terms of in the sky. I'll be on the 1s and 2s. If you can get down there, please do, and cheer on the boys. Anyway, take care, everyone. See ya. Don't want to be ya.